Hello, everybody. I know. Calm down. Calm down. More Harman. More Harman. Uh, Nobody asked, but I'm still gonna give it. Um, this video came in my recommended. The Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom has embarrassed Elden Ring Shadow of the Erd Tree. Okay. Okay. Well, I mean, I didn't even know there was a new Zelda game coming out. But you know what? Let's hear Harman out. Let's hear him out.
So last year, Tears of the Kingdom outdid Elden Ring and Baldur's Gate 3 without even trying. Right? It was a 10 out of 10 title that innovated.
Elden Ring came out a year before or not Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom. While yes, it's a good game, I wouldn't say it outdid it for Game of the Year, but teach their own.
And improved on Breath of the Wild in every single way. It was a phenomenal experience and a very impressive Zelda game. But the narrative, you know, after the game came out, or even before the game came out, was that like, oh, it's just a rehash. It's the same thing over again. It's like it was a cope. Like even then, even like pre-release, the idea that this game was going to bomb was laughable. And now, a year after launch, seeing how it's retained its relevancy far more than games like Elden Ring or Cyberpunk 2077 or Baldur's Gate 3, right? Baldur's Gate 3 came out after Tears of the Kingdom and yet is less relevant than Tears of the Kingdom is. Like
I hear nobody talking about Tears of the Kingdom. Just gonna say that right now. So, I don't know what relevancy has to do with like how good a game is for Game of the Year a year ago. It doesn't really have that much relevancy. Um, they're still both really good games, but you know, Harmon, what are you doing? You're killing me, my boy.
you can see that Tears of the Kingdom is here to stay, and it is an iconic Zelda game that will. One of the things they really clung on, the thing that they really emphasized, is that like I don't want to play Breath of the Wild again. Like I own that game already. Like it wasn't good to begin with, but I don't want to play it again. Like they really emphasized the fact that Tears of the Kingdom was a sequel to Breath of the Wild. Like, oh, we didn't get anything new. When are we getting a new top-down Zelda? When are we gonna play as Zelda? Like, Nintendo's not giving us what we want.
I don't think I've heard people really saying that. A lot of people really loved Tears of the Kingdom. I really liked Tears of the Kingdom. Like, by no means is anybody calling it a bad game. I mean, sure, people are saying it runs like shit, and yeah, on the Nintendo Switch, it runs like shit. But, the game itself is good. And, you know, it, as far as not wanting to play Breath of the Wild again after that, it surely is understandable. But, because it's just like such a big improvement. But, it's more Zelda. What I don't get it, Harmon. I don't get it.
They really came out and tried this. They really thought this would work. And what happens? Nintendo announces The Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom, like uh, September 27th, 2024. A little over a year after Tears of the Kingdom, right? After all that time, all that effort, all that damage control for Tears of the Kingdom, Nintendo puts out a sequel in Echoes of Wisdom before FromSlop, quicker than FromSlop was able to put out a DLC for their only relevant game. Like, can you really process how insane that is? That Echoes of Wisdom came out quicker than Shadows of the Erd Tree did for Elden Ring.
I don't think that has anything to do with it. That would you're comparing like two completely different games, and that's what I really don't understand. Cause Zelda and Elden Ring are just like different. They are, and it's like the way the games are structured, balanced, just everything about it, from like how it's made, the engine, everything. it's completely different. I don't think it's really fair. I'm not too sure how many people are working on Zelda. I'm willing to say more than the amount of people working on Shadow of the Erd Tree, but they were also working on other games such as like Armored Core, for example. But yeah, I don't really understand why Harman like insists on comparing like these games to each other, and they have like nothing. They're not related. They aren't. I just don't get it.
It took you longer to wait for a DLC than for Nintendo to release an entirely new game in the same series, right? That is insane to me. Even if you like believe that like Elden Ring is better than Tears of the Kingdom, it's not. Like the sheer fact of the matter is that like Echoes of Wisdom is coming out, is a completely new novel game with completely new mechanics, with a completely different feel, with like is a new thing. And Shadows the Earth Tree simply can't compete with that. And
Shadow of the Erd Tree is a DLC. You're comparing it to a complete sequel. What what is this copium? And it's like they're both really good. Why do you have to hate one? Like I'm not saying you can't hate one, but your reasons are just because Zelda's better, I guess. I don't know. It's just a really shallow, not shadow, a very shallow reason. Like, there's not much to it. You just don't like it because the only person you want to give your money and time is to Nintendo. And, there's nothing wrong with, like, saying, oh, I want to stick with this. But there is something wrong when you're putting down, like, everybody else around you for it. Like, why can't people just enjoy it? Why? It doesn't make sense. You have gone to the point of just like comparing two completely different games. Like they don't even play the same. And oh no, I guess they both have open worlds and bosses. Okay. There's way more to it than that. You can't just like look surface level at like the basics. You can't do that. But yeah, let's continue.
because like Zelda is a better IP than Elden Ring in general, like the base game Elden Ring can't compete with that either. So again, it's kind of the Palworld thing all over again, right? Where like it's not enough for Palworld to sell like 20 million copies, right? At a reduced price, right? Like it's not possible to surpass Pokemon by doing that. Like what you're gonna have to do is have a
Who said anything about Palworld? This is Zelda embarrassed Shadow of the Year Tree. Where does Palworld fit in? Oh, yeah, you just don't like it because it's Nintendo. Or not Nintendo, sorry. But, you know what? Let's just get past this point. I'm done. I'm done, dude.
annual releases sell that much for 20 years, have a popular animated series, have merch, have like was obvious. Like I think even hardcore fans were saying that, but like it's kind of shocking how even in the short term Pokemon couldn't remain relevant. At the very least, people will like look back on Digimon and just be like, "Oh, the first anime season was good." Like the first anime season is series is a
Well, here, you know what? Since Harman gets to hate, I'm gonna be a bit of a hypocrite and hate too. I really hate the latest Pokemon games. It's a complete. I personally, I thought they were a complete joke, a complete mess. They should not have been running the way they do. It's terrible. I don't know how they got away with that. And then those were like the most successful games in the franchise too. That's insane to me.
classic, right? Digimon had its like day in the sun. Yokai Watch had like the first couple of releases, right? Like there are like people can look back on franchises like those and just be like, oh yeah, that there was a period of time where like it was competing with Pokemon in this way or this capacity for a very short period of time. Uh, Power World never had that relevancy. right? It had the 2 week uh it was a 2 week of it was a flavor of the 2 weeks, right? It only lasted 2 weeks. It wasn't a full month. It was 2 weeks. It had a 2 week period where everyone was pretending it was like the greatest thing ever, that it was going to surpass Pokemon, that it was way better than it, that Nintendo was doomed, that they did not plagiarize models. They did. Uh,
No, um, this whole point's kind of dumb. Why are we talking about Palworld? um, but you know what, Harman? Uh, let's dig in. So with Palworld, yeah, it was only in like you know everyone talked about it for a little bit and then it died off, just like everything else. Now, no one was like saying this is the Pokemon killer. Maybe for like clickbait titles, sure, you can say that. But nobody like seriously thought that. You like not even the developers, I'm pretty sure. They it's just so stupid. What the fuck, Harman? It doesn't make any sense what you're trying to say. It's like no, whatever, Harman. Fuck you.
like that it wasn't a rip off of Pokemon. It was. They spent they spent like all that time like shilling for this mid video game, only for it to get wrecked, you know, by the
It didn't get wrecked. People still play it. Uh, Granted, not as much as people used to, but you know, everything falls off. And hey, you know what? That's okay. Not everything stays popular. Like Tears of the Kingdom, Harmon. No one's talking about that still, but you. But it's still a really good game. Just because you know no one talked about it because it came out a year ago, that doesn't make it bad, and that's okay. You know.
the Pokemon Direct like in March. And there wasn't even like a mainline announcement. They just announced like Legends EA and like a couple of mobile games and some new anime projects. Like again, Palworld got wrecked. Like Palworld was already forgotten by the time that Pokemon Direct dropped, right? And the way it looks now, like comparing Echoes of Wisdom to Shadow of the Erdtree, yeah, Shadows of the Erdtree is absolutely in the same boat, right? This is a DLC that only appeals to hardcore fans of Elden Ring, which are probably like there's probably only like 500,000 of them, like worldwide, realistically.
500,000 is still a crazy number. Like, you know, uh, that the 500,000. Let's just do that times like $40 for the DLC. That's a ton of money, and that's still a success, especially for a DLC. Like, you know, that's great. Good. You know, I'm happy they succeeded. I am. You know, they worked hard, and it paid off.
You know, 500,000 people, you know, playing this game, like pretending it's good, you know, pretending the lore is interesting, pretending it's difficult. Like, oh,
Guys, I got a confession. I don't really like Elden Ring. It was an act, and I'm sorry for deceiving you. I know your hearts are broken, shattered. Boom. I don't know what else to say. Yeah, I lied. Me and everyone else who bought Elden Ring, we hate it. And it's actually not difficult. We were gaslighting you. I'm sorry. Uh, it's over. It's over. The game actually sucks. My bad.
I, I, I only had to summon, like, I don't summon to make it easier, like, to make it harder on me. Like, again, like, Shadow of the Erdtree had
Yeah, totally. Challenge runs, they suck. Ooh, man, challenge runs suck, guys. He said it. Yeah, you can't make the game as difficult as you want it to be, I guess. Sorry. If you do that, you suck. That Harman said so, not me.
no real relevance period, right? Like it is impossible for a game like Elden Ring, something that filtered like 95% of its player base by being boring, unintuitive, repetitive, and just broken, right? Like something like Elden Ring was never going to have a successful Shadow of the Earth tree, right? Like we have like Dragon Quest 3 is going to be better, right? Again,
Dragon Quest 3 is a completely different game compared to Shadow of the Earth Tree. It's completely different. Harman, what are you smoking? What? Like, that's like saying, oh yeah, Doom. It's just like so much better than Animal Crossing. The level design is just so much better. Like, what the fuck? No, they're two completely different games. You can't, like, put them on the same playing field. Like, what? No.
what exactly is FromSlot going to do to remain
From
relevant
Slop.
in the near future, right? Like it's just
That's a
going
good
to
one,
be the
actually.
same thing over and over and over again. They're going to release some game, they're going to overhype some DLC to keep it relevant, and then once the DLC comes out, the game is instantly forgotten.
Yeah,
Right? Like
guys,
no matter
no
what
one's
the
talking
company
about this
do,
anymore. I'm sorry. No one's talking about Shadow of the Earth Tree. He's right. My bad. I should just, like, quit this video now while I'm ahead. Like, no one's talking about Elden Ring. He said it, right?
it's Dark Souls actually, right? Really, it feels like just the anticipation for the DLC is just a way for like from Slop to create the illusion that like the gaps between releases are a lot shorter than they actually are. But uh, yeah, like Echoes of Wisdom just looks like a real innovative, inventive little Zelda game.
Yeah, guys, Elden Ring wasn't innovative to the whole Souls-like genre at all. He has a point. I mean, going from Dark Souls to Elden Ring, it's like they're practically the same thing. Like, not innovative at all. Nothing changed. Like, you're better off just skipping. Yeah, totally. Okay. Okay.
Like it's doing so much to make me happy as a hardcore fan, and like when I compare it to something as sad and pathetic as Elden Ring, I honestly feel a little bad for FromSlot fans, right? Like this is really the best you're ever gonna have is just
Yeah,
a
I'm depressed right
mid
now,
Zelda
dude.
fruit clone in 2024. Like you it is appalling to see just how big of a gap in quality there is between Zelda and FromSlot.
Okay, guys. Well, we heard what he had to say. So now, my favorite part. Let's take a look at the game he's comparing to Elden Ring. Also, I love this thumbnail, Gooner. Okay. Alright, guys. Echoes of Wisdom. Let's see. Dude, Elden Ring doesn't stand a chance. Like, those are literally, like, the Elden Ring fucking sucks, dude. You can't do that in Elden Ring. Dude, us From Slop fans stand no chance. We're fucked. I'm sorry. That's how it is. It's just like this is so similar to Elden Ring, but better in every single way. Oh, I'm sorry. Does this happen in Elden Ring? No, didn't think so. Dude, we're fucked. Oh my god. Us From Slop fans, we wish we got this instead. What were they thinking? They made this in 2 years. They spent 2 years on Shadow of the Erdtree when we could have had this, but two times better, according to Harman Smith.
Hello, everyone. I'm Eiji Aonuma, producer of The
Okay.
Legend of Zelda.
Well, sorry. Uh, I'm here for some more From Slop, so let's cut to the gameplay.
Vanished. Now it's up to
That's really loud, by the
to
way.
stay as the protagonist. You might be thinking, will Zelda fight with a sword then? Here, we wanted to create a new gameplay style that
Yeah.
conventions seen in past
Yeah, Elden Ring doesn't break gameplay conventions, like Harman Smith said. So, this is just like a better Elden Ring. You should have got this as the DLC instead.
Legend of Zelda games with a top-down perspective. To explain more, please take a look at this.
Dude, okay. I'm gonna end the bit right now. These are completely different games. What? No, you can't, like, yes, you can objectively have an opinion of which game is more fun to you, but you can't, like, compare two completely different games and say, oh well, you know this is better than that because it's just completely different. Like, it's innovative and yours isn't. It's it's so stupid. Like, what? They're both good games. Why can't I enjoy Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree, Harman? Why can't I? Why do you get mad at me? I'm gonna start crying, Harman. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hurt your feelings. Okay, here. Let's go to most replayed.
In a Hyrule without Link, the fate of the kingdom is now in Zelda's hands.
The game does look really good, by the way. I like the little art style they're going for. It's really cute. I can't hate it. I can't even pretend to hate it. It is really cute. I do like it. But my main point is, you can't look at this and say, why wasn't Shadow of the Erdtree like this? What the fuck are you smoking? What? You know what? I'm gonna get a brain aneurysm, so I'm gonna end it here. I hope you all enjoyed. Like if you want, dislike if you're a From Slop fan, I guess, and share your thoughts in the comments below. I always love hearing from you guys, good or bad. So, see ya.